Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. In today's video, we're gonna walk through my current makeup inventory. The last time I filmed and posted one of these videos was August of last year, and this inventory is as of January 20th of 2023. So I'm filming it just a little bit later, but I did go ahead and write down all the numbers, take all the pictures and everything, so it's just a little bit delayed, but I'll have my last one linked down below from August, but I will be kind of comparing the numbers for you today, and I'll kind of tell you where they were at. And then that video, I compared it to my more recent one at that point. So let's go ahead and jump into it. For primers, I have 5 currently. I am happy with this number. I do kind of feel like I want to try a couple more primers because I do have really dry skin, so priming is a pretty important step in my makeup routine, so I actually really like that step. I know it's not for everyone, but for me, it's actually pretty important, I would say. In my last update, I had 8, so I've definitely gone down a couple here, and that's just from using them up. However, for foundations, I've actually tried out several new ones. So you're gonna see 12 in the picture here, but I actually have 11 because the day after I took my inventory numbers, I actually got rid of the Ilia Skin Tint. So I went ahead and calculated that within the numbers because I took the pictures and then did the inventory, like counted them all and wrote down all the numbers. So I have 11 foundations in my collection, but the Ilia one I picked up the day after I had kind of taken all those pictures of all the inventory products, and then I realized, wow, I really need to pick up this one more, and I decided to declutter it because it's just, there's some ingredient in there that was making my skin itch. Every time I would put it on, I would notice my face and like also underneath my chin itching as it dried especially, but then throughout the day it would be okay, but it would just itch for about 10 to 20 minutes when applying it, and it drove me insane. So I passed that along to someone, and it seems like she's liking it better. I don't think that her skin is reacting the same as mine was, so I'm glad that she could use it. But I'll also link down below my declutter video. I decluttered and then did the inventory right after that. So that will be linked below for you as well. But I do have more foundations than I did last time. I had 8 in my last update. So this has just been a category that I've been really enjoying to try lately, and I don't mind it. I just really have been liking that category a lot lately. For concealer, I have 7 in my collection. Last time I had 8. Again, for some reason, I've just really been enjoying foundations and concealers lately. I just feel like they make such a big difference. Like, they're one of the main steps in my makeup routine that makes such a large difference from start to finish, because you're putting on a good bit of it. You know, you're covering your entire face in it, and that's the only product, the only colored product, I guess I should say, that does that for me in my routine, because, you know, a primer is translucent. It might have a little bit of luminosity to it, but it's not a colored product. And then any other colored products, I'm just putting, you know, in a couple areas around the face or on the eyes or something. So I feel like maybe that's why I like it so much. It's just very transformative. But I have 7 concealers and I used up 1, so I had 8 last time. For face powders, I have 5. I had 5 last time, but I did use 1 up and pick up a new one, so then the actual products are going to look a little bit different, but I do still have 5 face powders. I feel like this is a good number because I have 2 kind of regular matte pressed setting powders. I've got a mattifying loose powder, a glowy loose powder, and then a pressed powder that's the glowish one, so it's more like a finishing powder. So I feel like I've got a really good mix there, and I don't really see the need to try anymore, but I do think I'll end up picking up another powder soon, so I'll keep you guys posted on that if I do, but I do like the ones that I have. I will say, over all these categories, I'm actually really proud at the numbers, because I felt like last year and into this year, I've kept my spending at a pretty good minimum, and I'm really liking where my collection is at. So I always like to try new things, but I'm very happy to see that my numbers, for the most part, stayed pretty consistent. In the next category for setting spray, I have 4. I would like to use up the Urban Decay All Nighter. I actually had that in a video that I titled Products I Want to Use Up, and that was one of them because I've just had it for a while, so I would actually like to see that get used up in my collection, but I don't mind the 4 that I have. I've got 4 really good ones. I do want to pick up the ColourPop Pretty Fresh one again. I've been really missing that. I ended up picking up the e.l.f. one instead when I repurchased a setting spray, but I think I'm going to end up picking up that ColourPop one again because they're just so different. The e.l.f. one is really good at making your makeup stay. But the ColourPop one is just like so nice to actually use. I don't know, I just really miss that one. So I'll probably end up picking that one up, but for now I have 4. And in my last update, I also had 4. For blush, this is actually kind of a high number. I have 16 blushes in my collection. I really like blush, and I feel like I don't like it as much as other categories, even though it might look like it's one of my favorite categories, but I do really enjoy having different undertones and different finishes and options and everything for my makeup looks, because like today I have more of a pink eyeshadow look on, and so I went for more of like a pinky sort of a blush. But yesterday I wore green eyeshadow, so I could go for more of like a neutral kind of earthy looking blush. So I just feel like there's a lot of different ways I could go with blush shades. So it's nice to have a lot of varieties, and then also to have cream options and powder options. So that doesn't really bother me to have 16. I feel like it's a little bit higher than I would have expected to have, I guess, but I also don't mind it. And in my last update, I had 13 blushes, so I have added a few since then. For highlights, I have 9 highlighters. These are all just like single pans though. We'll get to face palettes here in just a minute, but these are just the highlights that have just like one pan in them. And I've been also really enjoying highlight lately. Last time I had 7, so I have added, of course, a couple there. Bronzer as well, I have added more. So I currently have 11 in my collection. I actually prefer bronzer to blush when I'm actually applying the makeup. That is like one step that I really enjoy. And I think I actually enjoy it a little bit more than the categories of blush or even highlight too. I just like that even though it's kind of a standard step and it's not like switching blush colors, that it's still fun that there's so many different undertones and formulas to kind of play with and figure out if you like or not. So I do have 11, and last time I had 8. So for face palettes, these are anything that have 2 or more pans. So like a blush duo or a highlight duo, I put all of those in this category because it gets a little bit challenging. Like I have the Charlotte Tilbury face palette that has a bronzer and highlight. I would just prefer to have this category where I can keep all of my face palettes in one category versus trying to figure out how to split that between counting it as a bronzer or a highlight. So for my face palettes, I have 9. I had 9. I don't really add a lot of face palettes. I did add the Fenty duo, but I don't really add a lot of face palettes to my collection, but I do really enjoy the ones that I have. So I'm really happy with the 9 that are in my collection on that category. So moving to lips, for lip gloss, I have 15 lip glosses in my collection, and this also includes lip oils. So last time I had 13, I've only added a couple overall. However, actually I've added a good bit. I haven't just added 2 because I picked up for Christmas this Buxom set that comes with 4 mini glosses. So that's actually the biggest change in my gloss collection, but I really do like those. And I've been enjoying lip gloss. So, you know, I feel like that's a good category also to just have some variety in, because every product can be similar in a way. They can give a similar effect, but they can also just have differences. And for a makeup lover, I'm sure you guys, if you're, are watching this, you probably are a makeup lover too, and you understand where I'm coming from, but I just like to have options. So I do not mind to own the 15 that I had. In my last update, I had 13, like I said. For lip liners, last time I had 12 lip liners. This time I've got 14. So again, I'm totally fine with that category. I actually really like lip liners. I want to use up some this year, especially the KKW Beauty lip liners, because since they're no longer a brand, I find myself not wanting to use them up. But that's kind of silly because I love them. So I need to just use them up before they all dry out. And I just really think that they're great. So I really need to remind myself to use those. But I did pick up a couple more. I think those are going to be like the Rimmel London ones. I kind of changed that number there. But from 12 to 14 for this update, that's how many I've got now. For lipsticks, I actually stayed pretty consistent overall. I had 28 in my last update, and I have 29 right now. Again, lipstick's just a fun category to switch up. I pretty much always wear neutral, kind of nude lipsticks, but I do like to have a couple pops of color in my collection, especially for videos. I don't really wear a lot of super bold or colorful lipsticks outside of the house because I always get paranoid that they're wearing weirdly or ending up on my teeth or something. I don't know. I just prefer like a more neutral lipstick, but I like all different ones. I like different formulas from different brands and different finishes and undertones and a little bit of varying depth there too. So I do have a lot there. I feel like 29 is kind of a lot, but then again, maybe it's not in comparison to, other collections. I don't really know, but for me, I was like a little surprised it got so high. But when I look at all of the ones I have, there's none I want to get rid of. I'm really happy with all of them, so that's okay with me. And in my last update, I had 28. So I've only gone up 1 overall since August. For eyeliners, I actually went down in this number. I went from 13 to 10. So I did use up a couple eyeliners. I had a couple dry out. Finally used up the NYX Gilded Taupe eyeliner. I'd actually called it empty, and then I ended up using it today for the very final time. I cannot sharpen it anymore. It's so tiny. It's just like a little nub now. So that one I'm really glad to have used up, but I do have 10 now versus 13 that I had in August. For mascara, I have 5 open mascaras. Last time I had 6 open. 5 is definitely like the maximum that I'd really want to have open at any time, but I don't really care that I have more than 1 or 2 open at a time because I pile up the mascara. I will use like 3 to 4 coats of mascara on the upper lashes every single day and then 1 coat on the bottom. So by the time I do that, I actually do go through a good bit of product, and I don't really find an issue. I don't have a problem with using up mascara before they go bad. And then if it's one that I just don't like, I do not force myself to use it up because it's just like mascara, I feel like can make or break your look, because if it smudges or flakes, it just doesn't look good. So if I try one that's just a dud, I kind of just move on from it. But I don't mind to have 5 open. I have a brown mascara open, a waterproof mascara open, and then 3 kind of regular black mascaras. So I feel like that's pretty good variety there for me, and I don't mind have the 5 open. But last time I did have 6 open. For eye primer, I have a lot of eye primers. I have 9 eye primers, eyeshadow primers, including the NYX Glitter Glue. Last time I had 8. So I've picked up a lot of them over the last, I would say like 6 to 7 months because I've been trying to find a new favorite. I do have some that I like. I have some that I feel like I could do without. So I'm kind of figuring out if I want to get rid of any of those or if I just want to kind of keep cycling through them. I'm not exactly sure yet. But for now, I'm keeping them in my collection, and I've got 9 of them. I will say the About Face one is my newest, and I have really been enjoying that one. So for single shadows, these are shadows that are individually packaged. These are not like single pan shadows where you would make your own palette or anything like that. But for eyeshadow singles, I have 9 in my collection. I've picked up a few new ones lately from Flower Beauty and Ulta Beauty, and I think I got another one. No, I think I'm thinking of the Flower Beauty one. I did pick up 2 shadow sticks though from Wet n Wild, so those would count here too. So I had 6 in my last update and have 9 now. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know that I really needed those Wet n Wild sticks. I haven't actually used them but 2 or 3 times each, and I don't know. I wanted to try out that formula though because it's been a long time since I had an eyeshadow crayon or stick like that. So it was a good way to try it for a very affordable price. And I see that I would want to use them every now and then, but it's definitely not something I reach for regularly. I just really tend to reach for powder shadows. I find them so much faster to use. Maybe it's just in my head out of habit, but I tend to reach for those over cream or single shadows, and especially like in a stick form. So I don't think that's something I'm going to be purchasing moving forward, but I don't mind to have them in my collection now. I think that's okay. I think anything under like 10 singles would be pretty good. So I'm happy with them being at 9. So for brow products, I have 6. It's really just like 5. The 6th one is a little tiny Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. It is so tiny. I literally think it's gonna be like 1 week of use, but I'm gonna save it for a vacation and just take that as my brow gel and just use it up because we do have a week-long vacation coming up in a couple more months, but I might as well just hold on to that until then and just take the mini for that, I guess. So I currently have 5 full-size brow products and then the 1 mini. Last time I just had the 5, so you know, it's basically the same, but I did want to count that little mini in the number. The last category is eyeshadow palettes, and I have 30 eyeshadow palettes as of January 20th when I made this inventory. I actually got one in the mail yesterday, and I will share that with you guys very soon, but I just wanted the inventory to actually stick with when I did it because I'm tired of having to redo every video. I'm actually refilming this video right now because when I took my eyeshadow palette picture, I missed my Lethal Cosmetics singles palette that I made, and that messed up all of my numbers. And I just decided to refilm it because when I filmed that first one, you guys might have noticed like my throat has been really bad. I've been losing my voice, and so I also just didn't sound the best, so I decided to refilm it. So I'm just sticking with the inventory that I already did. I don't want to retake the photos. I don't want to recount the products, I just want to put this out there. I've been kind of backdating it to the 20th, and that's that. But including all of those, I have 30 eyeshadow palettes, including that Lethal palette. So I'm really happy with that number. I really like all my palettes. I like to have a variety. I don't want to own too many more than I do right now. I would say like 35 would be really pushing it for me. I used to have probably closer to 50 palettes. And even when I look back to see when I had 35, it felt like so much. Now that I do a little bit more of like creative looks sometimes, but I also really love neutral shadows, I don't really mind to have that kind of variety. And I've been really enjoying trying new brands of eyeshadow, especially indie brands. And a lot of indie companies specialize in eyeshadows. So I don't really mind that that's a larger category for me. So I have 30 eyeshadow palettes, including, you know, quads or minis or anything like that. I just put all the palettes into one category, and I'm pretty happy with all of the palettes that I own right now. I have a lot of joy with all of them in my collection. I really love those. In August, I had 29 eyeshadow palettes. Okay, so this is the first inventory video I have filmed in a very long time that my number actually went down from my last update. So in my last update, I had 190 makeup products, and I currently have 188. So overall, we've gone down 2 numbers, and I'm so happy about that because I feel like in the past I've been going up like, you know, 10 or 15 numbers. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but it is kind of exciting to like have it lower. Even from when I took this inventory a couple weeks ago, I have picked up 2 products, 1 foundation and 1 eyeshadow palette. So even then, if we're kind of counting that, I'm still at that 190 mark. So I'm just really happy about that. But for the purpose of this inventory, I am at 188 products in my collection. I'm really happy about that. I feel like I have a pretty curated collection. I really do enjoy the vast majority of products in my collection. I feel like I rotate through most of them all the time. Not all of them. There are some that I don't reach for that I really do need to try and remind myself to reach for more, but I really enjoy having options and variety of products and brands like I've mentioned. So that is my makeup inventory for this beginning of this year. I know I will be updating you guys later on in the year. Let me know if you guys want like a summer update or if you want me to just wait till later on in the year and kind of do this like almost yearly, or if you want to see it kind of in the middle of the year too. I think last year I did a couple of updates. It feels like too much to do one per quarter, but I'm thinking one like, you know, every 6 months or something might be more realistic. I go back and forth a little bit because last year I was on a no buy for, well, I broke my low buy a few months in, and so I didn't really go up at all until then, and then I went up a lot, but I felt like as a whole my inventory didn't really show that because it was like a big picture versus showing how it was for the first few months of like not growing at all and decreasing, and then I got a lot of makeup and so it went up really high. And I felt like that was the only thing that you saw. And so it didn't really show that I had tried so hard in the no buy to not purchase anything. So I feel like maybe I need to do them more frequently than a year. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. You will see me create this look very soon in a video. And just to spoil it a little bit, this is definitely going to be a new favorite palette of mine, the one that I used to create this look. So be sure to stay tuned on my channel for that video to come out. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.